the difference between positive economics and normative. Positive is dealing with scientific aspects. So there is a scientific method. A hypothesis is laid down. What is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is nothing but a tentative solution to a problem. So we lay down a problem that these are the resources and these are the things that we need to achieve, and how we can do it is a tentative solution to a problem. Now, with this tentative solution in mind, we formulate the hypothesis. Then we test the hypothesis, whether our hypothesis comes true or not. Scientific methods also employ experimental studies. These experimental studies are aimed to keep aside the prejudice of the scientists and make sure that individuals progress with the scientific understanding. For example, if I want to understand the spending pattern of an individual or the spending pattern changing with income. Now I want to understand the spending of an individual, how it changes with the income of an individual. I can simply understand it like that as the income increases, the spending or the purchasing power of an individual increases. But I can also say that sometimes it so happens that this increase in the income is not very obvious. It could be all of the sudden. For example, a person wins a lottery. Now, since a person wins a lottery, there is a temporary increment in the income, but that would be determining the spending patterns for that duration. But what beyond that duration? Beyond that duration, the things would again turn out to be status quo. So when we are understanding positive economics, we need to understand the scientific pattern that underlie the concept. The next is normative. Normative, whenever the word comes, the idea is what ought to be, what need to be. So here we focus on value judgment. It's not the absolute experimental scientific findings, but it is the opinion that matters. So under normative, we have opinions. I take a very simple example. COVID pandemic affected the globe. Now when COVID pandemic affected the globe, each of the country had certain episodes of lockdown. Now after the lockdown was over, each country brought their own opinions. Our country would grow in tourism. Our country would face recession. Our country would face food shortage. So what are those? Those are value judgments. They are not based on any scientific methods. They could be based on a scientific method, but most of these are value judgment, means they are opinion of the ruling party, opinion of the existing government. And normative economics actually explain that the resources needs to be explored in such a way that better utilization of resources can take place. So let's say another good example could be, it's a parliament house and we have the ruling party as well as the opposition party. Let's say ruling party brings a rule for electricity usage in the country and provides 30 units of free electricity to every household per year. However, opposition is of an opinion that these 30 units are very less. They could be increased to 300 units without any extra impact on the government or the government budget. So what happens? This figure which has been brought here, which is 300 units, is what? This is a normative figure. It's just an opinion that yes, government would not face any scarcity even if from 30 units the units are increased to 300, the government can take that load. So we understand that this is a part of normative economics. It's based on opinion. It's what ought to be. And therefore, we say normative economics is more interesting because through normative economics, we are extrapolating. We are trying to understand a model which is not into existence, but what could be predicted. So let's say with the existing economic scenario, and the COVID pandemic hitting the world, there were various theories by various economists. Some of the economists said that there would be a K-shaped recession. The other economists said that there would be V-shaped recession. Some economists said there would be W-shaped recession. What does that mean? A V-shaped recession says that the economy would come down and revive back. W-shaped recession means that the economy would come down, gain a little, then again due to some impact would fall, and then it would finally rise. So there are various opinions which are given by different scholars to explain how could be the recovery from the economic recession that the world faces. And this was what was called as the normative economics, or is a part of normative economics.